Hello everyone. I have all my palettes lined up. Today we're going to be looking into Prussian blue. So let's go ahead and get that chart going and see what we've got. And we got our chart all set up. Let's see if we can center that up a little bit for you. And all of these colors are going to be PB27, only one being called something other than Prussian, which is the Kramer. So let's go ahead and compare all of these. These are starting up my rev for my little Beatrix Potter series that I want to do. And these are known as some of the colors that she used. And she used PB27 back in the day. So our first up is Stone Ground Prussian. And let's see how this one looks. And I have a feeling that these may be fairly similar to each other. Some may be a little bit lighter, some may be a little bit deeper. When I think of a Prussian blue, I always think of a really rich color. And I'm using my normal swatching brush today, my Perla Escoda number 8. And we're working on 100% cotton watercolor paper, Saunders Waterford hot pressed. And I like hot pressed the best. That's why I tend to swatch on it. Next up we have Holbein. This one feels very creamy. And they're looking pretty similar, but I think the Holbein is a little bit deeper. Now we're going into M Gram. It's hard to hunt down all these colors when I have them all in. I think my battery just kicked out, so I put a new battery in there. Let's continue on with our M Gram. And yeah, it's always kind of a task to go ahead and get all the palettes lined up and hunt down each one and make sure that they're all running the same pigments. And M Grams is strong, very strong. M Gram is kind of known for that, to have a little bit of kick to their colors. Very creamy, honey based. And then a similar color to M Gram, I'd consider Michael Harding's paints very close to like an M Gram consistency. But Michael Harding's is a lot more vivid. But it all depends on what you're looking for in a Prussian. So far they're all pretty close in tone. I'd say this one is one of the most vibrant so far, which is odd because usually Holbein is has one of the most vibrant colors in a color. Now we'll do Winsor & Newton. Winsor & Newton tends to be a very traditional look to its colors. Very pretty. These are all coming out really nice and rich so far. So now we have Schminke. It tends to be a little bit lighter. It looks very dark in the pan, but it's coming out pretty light. Yeah, it's just a little bit lighter than some of the other ones. Not quite as rich, or not quite as dark, I should say. It's still a very vibrant color. Now we have Kramer, and they call theirs Paris Blue. And I love Kramer paints. They are so nice and rich and deep and pigmented. Very, very dark. It almost looks black up at the top. And now we have Rublev, and they are kind of like Kramer, where they have pigments you can buy, a whole bunch of things to make your own paints and things like that. This one's a little bit lighter, very rich though. Still gets quite deep. Definitely a lot more vibrant than the Kramer. The Kramer gets a lot darker. M. Graham is really getting dark too, and staying dark as it dries. We'll see how that goes as they start drying up. And now we have Roman Schmal. Beautiful paint. I'd say this one runs in the middle, not too dark, not too light, and very vibrant. Prussian tends to dry down a lot lighter, so we're going to go ahead and see how these dry down. And see what they look like. We'll be right back. All right, we've got the tape all pulled off, and these are our colors. They all have about the exact same hue. Kramer being the darkest, followed by M. Graham and Roman Schmal. And I'd say the most classic ones are the Winsor & Newton and the Michael Harding. I'd say they're pretty true in the middle if you want a sure, classic color. Stone Ground, I'm surprised it didn't perform as well as I thought it was going to. It kind of faded out a little bit there. But all of them are beautiful. All of them have about the same tonal range. I'd say the Stone Ground goes towards the green the most visually. And the rest are all so close in tone that I think picking any of these, you'd get a true Prussian blue or PB27. thank you for joining me today. It's kind of interesting to see how colors vary if one is darker, lighter, or how they process their colors, if they're way off or if they're very similar. And in this case, they're very similar. I think that was user error on the Holbein, so I think I flooded it with a little bit of water there when I was trying to get it to get the lighter tone. So please go ahead and follow me and subscribe, and thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.